Hey there, Lance here with a rant today about probably my favorite JoJo protagonist, Johnny Joestar, and it's a bit of a big claim to make in the fandom because people love the Josuke's and they love other protagonists like Dio, and I mean, you know, one of them isn't like the others, I know. Johnny can't walk like the other three, unless you count Dio as a head, but that's not important. In all seriousness, I really like Johnny Joestar, and I think he is my favorite protagonist until we see all of Jodio. But I just wanted to talk about why I like him, and this isn't going to be like an in defense of, because I don't think any rational person dislikes Johnny as a character. So to start, I wanna go over Johnny's design, and the first thing to talk about in this majestic design is his boots and how they connect straight to his pants. They make no sense. They're stupid, and I love them. They're amazing. I can't get over them. I know a couple of characters have this like design flaw enhancement. I don't know what to call it, but I really like it on Johnny. I think he pulls it off the best. I also really like the color scheme his clothes have, with his clothes being pretty simple for a JoJo character. It's just like a pair of pants with those boot things, a shirt with like heart pads, and like a hat with a horseshoe on it. It's pretty normal for JoJo, but I really like the blue like clothing and like the pink stars and hearts on him. I think it looks really good and it blends really well together, and especially on like the backdrops of like Steel Ball Run. It just kind of stands out some. Now, for the hat on his head, I honestly didn't even realize that there's like a little horse there. I always just kind of thought that was like Shadow. Or maybe I just never acknowledged it, but while I was doing this video, I realized that there is a horseshoe and a horse there. But I really do like his little beanie hat thing. And I really like that his hair is long enough that it actually flows out, because I like his blonde hair. Also, his little like blue lipstick really stands out. I don't know why, but it looks really good on him. I like it. And the little feather thing is weird, but I mean, I kind of just never notice it when I look at it, so it's probably fine. Now, for Johnny's poses, he has some really good ones. One in particular that I like is this scene where he's with Slow Dancer, which I'll talk about later. But he's just kind of like, I don't know, I'll have it up on screen, but it looks really good in my opinion. And then he has some others with like some like the chapter cover art that looks really good. So yeah, I really like the poses that Rocky puts in. They look chef's kiss. And now for Johnny's personality, he's kind of like a horrible person, and it's really refreshing because until this point, all of the protagonists in JoJo were not. They were pretty good people, right? Like Jonathan, Joseph, he saved the world. He's nothing like, he doesn't kill people. I mean, he might. Jotaro, I mean, he's got like good interests at like heart. Josuke, he's good. Giorno is probably the worst one. He murders people. But he also tries to get rid of drugs in all of Italy and take over the mafia. So, like, he's not really that bad. And Jolene is kind of also a criminal, but she also isn't that bad. Johnny would ice you in an alleyway for a stick of gum. He doesn't care. If he gets mildly annoyed, he might stab you with a pencil, or try to cook you like pasta, since he is friends with the Italian man Gyro. This is also ignoring that Josuke the 8th, or Gappy, he is a little crazy, and Jodio himself is a literal fucking psychopath, so that's nice. So he will probably be the worst, but as of now, in my opinion, I think Johnny is the most quote-unquote morally gray, despite being very willing to just murder people to get some things. I think Johnny is the first person in the series to be like officially named with like dark determination, which is something Araki is basically just using that says like you have some like willingness to do whatever it takes to get to the top or what you want, which I think it looks really good in Johnny, and so that's the specific image I have on the screen, and I really like it. I really like the name of it. and just this art in particular. I also really enjoy the twist Johnny has on Jonathan's past. I think it's really compelling to have him and George be at odds like a lot more than Jonathan was with his dad, because I mean they kind of fought a little bit, but I mean kind of like how alternate universe George was too. He forgave him a lot faster, but I thought that like the fighting between Johnny and alternate universe George really justified like how much of an asshole Johnny was in like his earlier life before he was shot in the line for the movie theater. I think that justifies him pretty decently, at least to me. I think it does. Now, a specific scene that really makes me like not resonate but just appreciate Johnny is the end of the Sugar Mountain arc, where Johnny is really struggling between like if he should give up the Holy Corpse for Gyro, and then we see Gyro get sucked away, and Johnny's like, I don't want to give this up. So he's kind of just like saying, yeah, nah, you're good, Gyro. I'm leaving. Which I thought was, you know, a pretty human thing to do. Like, not the murdering part, but like being indecisive. But then when Johnny like does give up the corpse parts, and you see him just kind of like bawling his eyes out, I thought also just felt like a real, because he seems like just genuinely like destroyed at the idea of like not being able to ever walk again, which most people would be. But I think that does like a lot to establish him as like feeling like a real person, at least to me. I think another really good scene with Johnny is where he's trying to like negotiate with Valentine at the end of the Love Train arc, where he's wanting so badly to believe in Valentine that because he knows that, or he thinks that Valentine has a more noble cause than Johnny does, or than he does. And I think just that like urge to not have to kill him, because he technically is trying his best. Valentine is trying his best to like make America the best nation. And I think it's interesting to see how Johnny is wishing that he could believe him, that he would let him live if Johnny let him, because he wants to believe in like Valentine's selflessness. And I think that's interesting for Johnny, because throughout the entire story, really, we can see him like hungering like Dio, and with Gyro dying just beforehand, I think it's really interesting about how what that says about Johnny, because I mean obviously Gyro meant a lot to him, so I'm not really sure like what it's meant to like mean that Johnny is willing to like forgive Valentine, or he wants to. So I'm not really sure what that's trying to convey, but I know it's trying to convey something. I'm just not smart enough to know, but I think it's... Hey, if you made it this far, you might as well give me a like, since you clearly liked it. Thanks. It does a lot for Johnny. I think it definitely shows like character development from like I'll put on what act Johnny had of Tusk when he was like first willing to like kill, I think, Dio is what I'm thinking of in my head right now, and then like how he went from that act to Act 4 and how much he's like evolved in between then. So I think that's a really good piece of like character development for him. Now, for the actual context of Steelbot Run, Johnny is almost exclusively with Gyro, like in every frame, except for the times he gets like kidnapped, which I can only think of one off the top of my head. Maybe two. But I really like the dynamic between Johnny and Gyro, as they're both deuteragonists, but I really like just seeing how they interacted, with like Johnny praising Gyro's like really bad jokes, which I thought was funny, and him just kind of like playing up, like particularly the pizza mozzarella song, and how Johnny was like, why isn't this like international? I thought that was funny. I just liked seeing them interact, and kind of seeing how even though Gyro is willing to kill, he's much more like hesitant than Johnny, which I thought was interesting because going into Steel Ball Run, I thought it would be the opposite, where Gyro would be the one inclined to kill, when he is an executioner by trade. So it's interesting to see. It was unexpected when I was first like understanding him. And now to Johnny's stand, Tusk, and ooh, this is a good stand. I really liked how Araki did the axe for this instead of echoes, because okay, don't hurt me, but I didn't really like Koichi and echoes. I didn't really like him as a stand either, and the acts were like very sudden, I think, which Johnny's are too, but I think they're a little more deserved. Acts 1 and 2, Act 1 in particular is like a freak of nature. It looks disgusting in my opinion, but Acts 1 and 2 give Johnny like a pretty good ability to like harness the spin in his fingernails. I think that's pretty good. But then once getting to like Act 3, then Johnny starts to, like, rising on the busted list, and like being able to quote unquote teleport himself, actually just moving himself around in like the spin holes, I thought was really creative, and how it basically just makes Johnny's movability much greater, considering what is beforehand he can't walk. So that really did a lot. But Act 4 is where Tusk shines. Obviously, it's Act 4, where Johnny can actually harness like all of Infinity. For Act 4 is the only one's design I'm really going to talk about, because the others are okay in my opinion. But Act 4 is just really good. I really like the gold like gloves or like arms he has, and I think in some he has like golden boots as well. I'm not sure about all. I'll have a picture up correcting me if I'm wrong. But I really like the gold gloves. They really like stand out on like the pink, like overall pink body. And I really like the legs, or like the lower half of the body, because it kind of looks like cowboy-esque with like boots and like kind of like baggy jeans, which is kind of cowboy-esque. So I think that looks really good. And then like the kind of like pseudo dress with like the little tangly things like from his body, I think those look really good too. And then his face is just menacing as well. I said the word. Anyways, that's about everything I have to say. Just overall, I really enjoy Johnny as a character, protagonist. He hits all the crucial boxes, and I just like seeing him interact with his environment, his situation, the characters, and I think that Araki might have peaked with him, but we'll see with Jodio, because he's on track to be amazing in my opinion. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it if you made it to the end. Subscribe. I will try to make more of these